Hey beautiful people, thanks for taking the time to watch this video today. Today we're going to be talking about whether creditors can actually take you to court. So I've been asked this question, can creditors take you to court? And the answer is absolutely, yes they can. However, only within the statute of limitations of your particular debt. So, depending on, I'm in Ontario, statute of limitations is 2 years over here. But wherever you are, you need to understand what the statute of limitations are for your geographical location. And that information is readily available. It's easily accessible. And you know what I'll do? I will make sure that I put it in the description so you will know what the statute of limitations are for debt across Canada. Each province may have different rules. Some provinces have similar statutes, and other provinces it's a little different. So the problem is, people will say, well, can they still come after me? So here's the thing. You'll have the debt. In the first 2 years, they don't come after you, they don't take you to court, they don't do any of that. But once you admit to the debt, once you acknowledge the debt, that puts you back in, that restarts the clock. If you do not acknowledge that, you do not know it's there or what have you, and they don't sue you, and it's on your credit bureau report, it will drop off between 6 to 7 years later. But who wants to wait that long, right? Who wants to wait that long? As I've said in my other videos, there are certain debts that will stay there. Certain debts can be removed and certain debts cannot be removed. And there are certain debts that have the ability to be, how should we say, forgiven or removed or pulled out, depending on what you negotiate or how you play it. And there are other debts that are not. You can't, there's nothing you can do about it, right? So we're talking about child support, we're talking about anything to do with the government, stuff like that. That stuff, it's, yeah, forget about it, right? Taxes, all that stuff. You know, if it's on your credit bureau report, you better contact CRA and deal with them. All right, now, what happens after 6 or 7 years when something drops off of your credit bureau report? Are you able to be forgiven? Can they come back after you? What happens if something comes back on my credit bureau report after the 6 or 7 years? Is that allowed? So the answer is no. In most cases, it should not be allowed to come back on your credit bureau report after it's been pulled off, after it's been dropped off. However, that does not mean that you are not obligated to pay the debt. So what happens in that case is something's in collections, it drops off your credit bureau report because it's exhausted its amount of time that it's supposed to be on your credit bureau report. What happens is you still are responsible for that debt. Maybe morally, ethically, but not necessarily legally if it's past the statute of limitations. We call that statute barred. So if a collection agency gets a hold of that debt for pennies on the dollar because that debt is considered stale, it's old, it's already been written off by the original creditor, they might try their shot to try and get a hold of you to get payment on that debt. They've only paid, I don't know, I'm just throwing out a number, a couple of dollars for that debt, and the debt is $1,000, $3,000, $4,000. It's hard to collect debt. But if they decide they're going to come after you for that debt and try and collect on it, and you say, you know what, I'm going to pay it, then they are laughing all the way to the bank. They're extremely happy that you've decided to pay off that debt, and it's a win for them, not necessarily a win for you, because then what you do is you restart the clock. They may even report that particular debt on your credit bureau report as paid. So when the debt was initially on your credit bureau report and it dropped off normally, they might end up putting that same debt back on your credit bureau report but show it as paid. Or if they don't do that, they might just have the money and they can take off and they don't even have to update your credit bureau report. You paid them and that's it. So there is some confusion regarding this, but I just wanted to add some clarification with regards to your understanding of debt that is statute barred. If you acknowledge, if you admit and confess and state that yes, you do own the debt, if the collection agency so chooses, that can be a reason for them to restart the clock on that debt. So that's why your verbiage always has to be very deliberate and very particular with regards to what you say and how you say it. Okay? Thanks for taking the time to watch this video. Hopefully you got some value out of it. I just wanted to drop a quick video for you guys so you'd have an understanding with respect to that. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.